Hey, Mr. Miyagi-Style, guys, gals. I haven't talked to you guys in a long time. I haven't done a video in a long time. I'm off in a week to my trip, my big trip. So hopefully I'll get some videos posted while I'm there. If you can, yeah, if you want to follow my kind of a video journal of my trip, I'll try and get as much out as possible. I'm just finalizing a few things, trying to get things prepared, luggage, you know, transportation, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on. It's crazy. We have so many stops, so many islands to go to, and I have to book all the resorts and scuba diving and excursions and blah, the list goes on. Anyways, the problem with that is that I've been kind of fighting my luggage because I just found out that we fly in Cathay Pacific, and we're so used to flying our airlines here, which have a much better allowance for carry-ons and personal items. Whereas any Asian airlines are very strict with stuff like that, and the weight ratio is insane. Like, it's half of what we can actually carry. So majority of times I carry my camera bag with me, which is full of camera stuff, and I also carry my carry-on, which carries my dive gear. So right now I've had to trim down everything. I have to trim down my camera gear. I'm not bringing a lot of cameras with me. I'm bringing a few only to cut that weight down. Because now I have to check my dive gear, which is not really a good idea. But you know, I want to bring my dive gear. I'm more comfortable with my own gear when I'm diving. So that, but long story short, it's just stressful trying to get everything organized and trying to trim down on my baggage, and yeah, it just goes on forever. I'm just going to do a segment on the Flow 2 Pro by Insta360. Thanks Insta360 for sending me the unit to test out, so that I can share my experiences with you guys, to my viewers and my subscribers. I'm not paid in any way, and they don't see this video before anybody else. They see it at the same time as you. They don't get to tell me what to do. I'm not even obligated to do a video about this. So I just want to do it to show you guys that how I use it, and maybe you guys can benefit from the way I use it and the things that I create to use this gimbal, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. I'm not going to get into detailed comparisons between this gimbal and that gimbal and so on and so forth. It's just because I'm always late in the game. I'm not a big content creator, so I'm always the guy later on to get the product. So by the time I get a video out, you know, there's a million other content creators already got their video out, right? And usually launch day, they have a review out or comparison out. And there's tons of them out there, guys. Please do a search, and I'll drop a few links down at the bottom. Like guys like David Manning, ladies like Tamara, Zdanka, you know, Tech Packer. They've all done excellent reviews of this gimbal compared to the DJI as well as the Hohem ones. Those are really the big direct competitors that I know of. And as far as I've seen a lot of videos in the past few days, and I wanted to figure out what I'm going to do in this segment. I don't want to be like everybody else. And from the consensus that I'm seeing from all these reviewers, seems like everybody's gearing towards the Insta360 just because of a few options. You know, like the tracking is much better if you have the AI unit on the Insta360. The price is a little bit more on the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro than the Osmo Mobile 7. But there's a few features I really like about the Insta360. I don't have the Osmo Mobile 7, so I don't know. I'm just going by what these content creators and reviewers are saying. But I do have the Hohem iSteady V3, so I can compare the two, and I'll tell you what I like about it in briefly between the two. I'm gonna start off with this unit right here. So this is the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro. It's relatively small. If you can, I don't know if it'll focus in. If you look at I really like the Hohem i3, because if you look at the Hohem i3, okay, it's actually smaller. It folds up nicer because that claw mount actually fits right into the handle. And I wish they did that with the Insta360, because when you buy the Insta360, you do get the clamp with it, the magnetic clamp for your phone, and it's nice that it's magnetic. That's kind of cool. But I wish they designed it so when it folds down, it's very similar to this. It actually turns and closes onto the handle, so it's not kind of sticking out like that, which is brilliant. This is a great idea, great design. And they also have the AI module, this piece right here. I'll pop it down, which fits nice and neat. It's all nice and compact in a nice little unit that you just fit in your pocket very easily. With this one, it's not as easy. So with the clamp on here, now you don't have to have the clamp. You can take the clamp and put it separately. What I usually do is I have the clamp out, and I just have it on my phone ready to go, like this, and I'll just leave it on the phone. So this not, the profile is pretty thin, so it doesn't really bother me that I can use my phone. And when I'm ready, I just stick it on and I can use it, right? That's one. The other thing is to the AI module. Okay, so the Insta360 has tracking, AI tracking, and it's only if you use the app, the Insta360 app, and it does a really good job. The Insta360 app has a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of features. I'm not a big app. I don't like using apps when it comes to things like this. I'd rather have a, just like gimbals, you know, you prefer a mechanical stabilizer as opposed to a digital stabilizer. I prefer the AI camera on here because it's a dedicated AI tracking unit. And this, unfortunately, unless you buy the combo that includes this, you have to buy this separately. It's not expensive. I think Canadians are 58 bucks. And I actually bought it. I really wanted the AI. I didn't get the bundle with the AI. That's fine, not a big deal. So I spent some money and bought the AI module myself. And it's proved to be very, very useful. And I love, and it's neat because it just plugs in the side of the unit. It's got a USB plug and it actually clips in and locks. There's two handles that lock in. And it sits like this, okay? Now, it does stick out like this, kind of swings, you know. That's, I'm not even gonna use comparison there, but it does swing out. You just get a rubber band or something like a Velcro, and you just tie it together so it sits properly. With this one, again, like it's nice because the AI module is on here, the claws on here. It's all in a neat little form factor like this, and you just slip in your pocket. The disadvantage of this one is that the way this one locks in, it's a magnetic clip. It's kind of got a very simple magnet lock on here. And I do find at the odd time, I hit the button and I kick this thing right off or it pops right off very easily. With this one is not, with the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, this is not easy to pop. You have to actually grab the two sides, press it really hard and unlock it. And it's USB based. So the there's a USB on the actual head, the motor here, where it mounts the phone. And that USB is also used for charging. So it's a reverse charging as well. So if you have a phone on here, you can have it plugged into the phone and you'd be charging. And I think the Osmo Mobile 7 has it as well, but I think you have to activate it. PhotoRabs did a pretty good comparison of the Osmo Mobile 7 with the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, and he makes some very good points between the two. I'm just here to tell you what I use it for and what I like about it. The other thing I really like about this one is I think this is also the same. They've now put in the I'm going to pop this off here so it doesn't swing around. Woo! Not easy to get off, so you gotta kind of unclamp it. And you get I got the one with the light. It's a creator combo. It comes with a light, and it comes with the magnetic clamp on the phone. Also comes with the MagSafe plate, which is awesome. And I'm gonna get to this in a second. This is a very critical part of this gimbal. The legs on this one, both of these have the fold-out tripod legs, and I actually like the Insta360 one, the Flow 2, because it's much more robust and much thicker. I don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know if it'll kind of like, it's actually quite thick. And I'll show you the Hohem one. And I'm not going to get too much in. I don't want to talk about too much of DJI because I don't have it, so I can't really say. But I do have the Hohem. So this is the Hohem one. It also has the built-in tripod legs, but look how thin they are compared to the two. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can't, on the camera, you can't even see the legs of the Hohem. Like, it's really, like, I'm always afraid that I would snap around those legs right off when I wouldn't put too much force onto that. It's strong. But like if you compare the two, that's a much more robust leg. Both of them have the quarter 20 at the bottom, so you can actually mount it on a tripod, which is really cool. I really like this because of a couple things. The design on this, again, it's full 360, so this one can actually track at 360 degrees, so you can spin completely around. This one cannot. It can only go 180 one side and 180 the other side, and it has to turn around, so it doesn't rotate 360 degrees. So that's one big advantage of the Flow 2 Pro. I think they're the only one that does this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the DJI OM7 does not go 360 degrees. The tracking I really like. Now the tracking on the actual Insta360 app it's okay. It's not very quick. to get the fast tracking, you have to actually activate the fast tracking by using the trigger, which is kind of weird because then you have to hold it and then activate the fast track. I wish you could just press a button and have the fast tracking activated, because if I'm doing a solo filming, then I don't have to hold on to my gimbal. You know what I mean? I'm sure that feature will come via firmware updates. Again, I don't want to get too detailed into this. I'm going to show some samples of the video what I did. The other thing I really like about this is that when you open this, it automatically turns on. The payload on this is really good, and both of these do retract out. Let me shut this off here. So both of these do have an extension, so they do extend out like so. And this one does, let me shut it off. Click. There it goes. This one does retract, and they both actually fold in as well. So you can get those really cool, weird shots. There it goes. So it folds down. So it has a two pivot. Ooh. Oh, snap off the legs there. So this is kind of cool. At least you can lock in this. You can do some weird. I haven't, like I said, I haven't had a lot of chance to play with this. There's so many features to this, which I really like, because it has a lot of features to this that I haven't really even touched. I know Mount Media and Tamara and those guys, PhotoRabs, have done a lot of detail. So refer to them for any of the details you want to know, features, that kind of thing. I'm not going to do this in segment because everybody else has done it. I don't want to bore you guys to death. I'm probably going to bore you guys already. And I'm going to get to the controls. Now, this is the one thing I just prefer, and I'll get to why. I actually prefer the controls of the Hohem, because the Hohem, it's a remote control that pops out and is via Bluetooth. So I can actually pull it out. It's magnetically locked in, and I can actually control my gimbal from a remote control perspective, and it's tiny. So, which is kind of nice. The Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, it's not detachable. The controls are right on the actual unit itself. There is a feature, and this is the bad of this video, is that that feature is not ready for Android phones. So you basically can sync your another phone or another device onto this and have your phone. You can actually use that phone to remote control that gimbal. So if you have a cheap phone kicking around or whatever, I have like a bunch of phones. Most of us have more than one phone anymore, right? And you can use that phone to actually remote control the gimbal, which is great. But the problem with that is when this was launched, and it's been out for a few months, and this is the kind of a disappointment for me, is that Insta360 seems to focus a lot of their products on iOS products, which is a shame, because and I know you guys, you fanboys, will just come on and say, why don't you go buy an Apple? I'm not going to buy an Apple. I hate Apple. I used to use Apple at the very beginning. I don't want to get into that argument with anybody. I'm an Android guy, always have been, I always will be. And you know, there's more Android users out there than there are Apple users. Like, don't believe me, just Google it. And the fact that a product in 2025 that comes out that's not equally supporting the two platforms is kind of sad, because if you're giving all the features to one platform and Android users don't have that, you know, they're not likely going to buy a product. They're going to go somewhere else, right, and buy something else that has support for their product. And we kind of felt left out. Like, it's a great game. I love this game. I love the design. I love the durability, the features. But the lack of Android support really kind of disappoints me a little bit. I talked to tech support. A lot of the features, like the AI tracking on the actual app itself. There's a couple other things too. The dual tracking, a couple of special effects, the remote control function. They're all only supported with iOS. Now, they are rolling out. They're telling me that it's coming on Android, but it's been out for a few months. It should be out for Android when the product launch. That's my impression anyway. That's how they used to always do it, and then just improve on those features, not add them later on. Like I said, there's a lot of Android users out there that are like, I would love the remote control feature, but I have to wait for it. As far as tech support tells me, they're working on it and they're going to be launching it in the next, hopefully, future firmware updates. They're already rolling out some firmware updates that are giving some Android phones remote control and some of the features. but only on the high end stuff like the S23s, the S24s. You know, I have a Pixel 7, which is considered a high-end phone. It doesn't have that feature. It's not supported for remote control. That's kind of the sad part of the whole thing. You know, in my title here, I said the goods, plural, the bad one, and that's really the only bad that I can see with this gimbal. There's no uglies. It's a really good gimbal, guys. Which I really like because it's. I think somebody had mentioned that some of the other, like the DJI, it's not ambidextrous, as it was designed for right-hand users. So if you're a left-hand user, you're SOL'd. Whereas the Insta360 Flow 2 Pro, you can use it with equally with whether you're a left-hander or right-hander. I think PhotoRabs was one that pointed that out, which is a good point. You know, if you're going to build something, you can't just be, it's like the Apple thing. You can't just make something for an Apple, not for Android. These, and today, you can't just make it for right-hand users and not left-hand users, or vice versa, right? This doesn't make sense. So little things like that really annoy me, and you know, those are things that should be at launch time. They should have that, right? But the little bits and pieces of this gimbal, the way it spins, the AI tracking, how it folds up when you fold up, it automatically turns on. Whereas these ones you have to actually manually turn it on. Little things like that, and the way they did the little rotating bezel that allows you to zoom in, zoom out, rotate, and do what do you call rotational recording? I don't know what that's called. There's a name for it. I forgot. Things like that is really cool because they're the only one that has that. The remote function I would love to see, like I would love to see a Flow 3 Pro that has a removable remote. This is a brilliant idea. This is one of the things I loved about the Hohem and why I bought it, is to have that remote control. So if I'm far away and I want to control my gimbal, I can with the remote. Whereas this one, you can if your device is supported. So that's kind of disappointing. Well, I'm going to get to the heart of this video. I'm going to show you the AI tracking on this thing. And let me see if you can catch what I did here. But the AI tracking is awesome on this, especially with this module right here, the AI tracking module. But yeah, definitely worth the investment to pick this up. It's not expensive. You know, it's an inexpensive add-on if you want the best tracking. Hardware tracking for the gimbal. So check out the video and I'll come back. Yeah, buddy. Oh, I lost track in one. Here you go, buddy. Still tracking me, man. The Flow 2 is still tracking me. I'm pretty far away. I'm gonna turn around. This thing's still going. The Hohem has lost tracking, and Flow 2 is still going, and it will catch me even if it loses my tracking. If I go back into the frame, it'll catch me and it'll start tracking again. So I've lost tracking in the Hohem. I have to reactivate it again. Here we go. So now we're both tracking. Come on, get. Okay, so the Hohem has lost me already, right about this distance, and the Flow 2 is still tracking me. And I'm gonna go further over here. Hopefully we still get some mic reception even on Bluetooth. It might be a little scratchy. I'm gonna go over here. And the Flow 2 is still tracking me right to the edge. Come on, buddy. Go on, drop. Drop. Tracking me right to the end. Go. See if it'll catch me again. Yeah, still tracking me. Jeez. Thing's crazy. So I had to reactivate the Hohem by doing that. So pretty neat, eh? See how far that can track? It's incredible. The Hohem was actually kept losing me, and you kept seeing me doing this. That's the hand gesture to activate the tracking on the Hohem. So it's not because everything's okay. It's because I'm trying to activate the tracking on the Hohem itself. The Hohem distance not very far, and I believe the hardware tracking on the Flow 2 is the longest range. It even beats the DJI by a significant distance. And DJI, from what I've seen in the videos, have a really tough time with their tracking. The OM7 wasn't very good. It kept losing its subject. It wouldn't pick it up after the subject came back into frame. So it had a lot of issues. Now that could be just the user or what I've seen. Like I said, I don't have the OM7, so I don't know. I'm just going by what I've seen in the reviews. As you can see how far I was in the video, and this thing just kept on me. Even if I went out of frame and came back, it picked me up again, and it kept tracking me. I've only lost tracking once, and that was because it actually turned around and filmed this, and the camera on here on my phone got in the way, so I lost tracking. And then when I came back and redid my gesture, it picked me up, and it was fine after that. So it only lost me once, and that was because this was in the way. This one kept losing me. Like every time I would just move really quick, it would just lose me. Or if I'm going to a certain distance, a limited distance, it would just lose me. And even when and the thing with this one is, even when I came back, this one with the tracking device, if it loses you, it shuts off. You have to reactivate it again with the gesture. Whereas this one, it actually picks back up and retracts you, which is the coolest thing ever. So you don't have to do the gesture. And you see me doing this all the time. It's kind of weird. This one also has a gesture, and which is the high sign that turns it on. Peace sign is basically to start recording. But anyways, did you notice anything different about the video? So on the, I don't know if you guys caught it. So on the Flow 2, I had the Ace Pro 2 on it, and the Hohem had a phone. Okay, and you can actually use the action cameras on the Flow 2 very easily, and I found it much easier to use on this. Remember, I was doing, if you guys saw my review about this, using it with an action camera, and I had to make these brackets just because the claw is not very deep, it doesn't hold very well, and I was afraid that the camera would slip out, fall out, so I made these kind of brackets for it. Well, you don't need it with this, because this thing is actually designed really well, that goes around the buttons, and it's really quite tight. Like, you won't, if you have this on here, you won't lose it. It won't come out. The only problem I have with this is that I hate anything that's I have to manually put in, just because if I'm in a hurry, you know, and when you put it on, you have to make sure, just because action cameras are not phones, so they're a lot thicker, and they don't balance like phones do on gimbals. So on the Hohem, you have to get it right on, or it'll start to vibrate. That means it's not balancing the action camera. With this one, with this clamp, I don't know what they did with this, because the balancing on this is really good. I didn't really have to micro adjust my action camera on this to have this balance. It automatically picks up the balance very well. There have been times where it was off a little bit and it just started vibrating, but nothing, it wouldn't shut off like this one would. So there's not as much micro adjustments you need to do to balance a action camera on this gimbal than you would have to on the Hohem. I'm not sure about the Osmo. I don't, like I said, I don't have it. I don't know, so I can't say. But the magnetic, and it's great because you can just put this on the camera. Like, let's say this is the Ace Pro, and I'll just clamp it on here, and it doesn't get in the way of the buttons like this one does. This one actually fits. It actually goes right on the button, so you're actually pressing the power button on it. This one is just before it, so it's the perfect fit. And you just take this and you just slap it on here, and turn it on, and it balances it perfectly. Like, you don't have to play around with it or micro adjuster or anything like that. Let me just flip it around. 3 trigger, it's gonna spin around. So it works really well with action cameras, and it does work really well with the Action 4 as well. because I tested it with the Action 4 and it works perfectly fine. I do love the way this thing balances an action camera. So I took it one step further. I didn't like the clamp system just because it's more work. I'm lazy. I'm sorry. You know, it is what it is. And plus, for me to change it and DIY something, I can use a clamp for like a phone, have it on a phone, and I can switch between an action camera and a phone if I need to, for any reason. If I'm out vlogging or stuff like that, I want to switch devices. So what I did was, I was trying to figure out, because a lot of times you'll use this opened up like this, right? Because then you can see yourself and do your vlogging. And with the clamp, you do have to micro adjust, because now you have the screen flipped up. And it does have the balance itself, but it's not too bad on this one. This one, you really have to play around with it. With this one, no, it actually adjusts very well. I've seen people who put phones on this, and they have the microphones on it, and it's sticking out here and there, and this thing automatically adjusts perfectly fine. I think the payload on this is 300 grams. So it does a very good job at balancing the devices that's connected to the gimbal. Now, having it open like this, with this clamp, it's kind of wonky. Because you really kind of have to adjust it. So, and I had the MagSafe, which is really cool. So what I did was, let me just get my phone here. So the MagSafe, my phone has the MagSafe case on it. So I can just take the MagSafe magnet, and it just sticks on here. There's a little, like a little locking system here, and it's got a button. So when you get it in right, the gimbal will actually identify it and then automatically balance the unit itself. So this is balancing my phone right now. So let me just flip it over. So yeah, and I can just pop the MagSafe out, and if I want to. I love the magnetic system because it doesn't add bulk to the arm when you're storing away. Not like the claw will, because it kind of sticks out. And you can have it on the phone all the time. Let me shut off. You can have it on the phone all the time. It sticks on there pretty good. And the way they designed this MagSafe light is, let me shut off here, is that it's also a finger ring. So it actually pops down, and there's a little ring that you can use as a tripod, like to mount your phone up, or you can use it for your finger. So it's like one of those, what do you call, I don't know what you call those things, finger rings for your back of your phone. So that's kind of neat. I love the system. And I think a lot of phones have the MagSafe on the back. I think iPhones do. And you can buy, like, this is a Motorola phone. You can buy cases with the MagSafe magnets at the back. So it actually works with MagSafe magnets. Now, I took it one step further. I want to say, well, why can't I do magnets on the action camera? So the first thing I designed was this clip. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see it. So it's just a plastic printed bracket, and it's very simple to print out. And I have the Case Pro magnetic mount clip on here. Okay, you can use, I have a generic one. This is the A magazine one, and you could use the one that comes with Insta360. I just have this one kicking around. I've got my Insta360 one packed away. So, and it's pretty neat because this one, I have two brackets. Okay, there's two. If you look at the side profile, I don't know if you guys can. This one is thicker. Okay, this one is thinner. Okay, this one is designed to mount on the camera with the screen open like this. Okay, and it just sticks and connects. That's what it looks like at the back. And I have these metal plates that are double stick, and I stick them on there. You can buy these metal plates. I got a bag full of them. You can buy them on AliExpress, and then I've got them all over the house because I use it for, believe it or not, I use it for the Go 3. You can just stick it on those metal plates. So I put it on the back of, ooh, what's on here? Cool. So I put it on the back, so it's the same shape as the MagSafe. So I just stick it on here. And I actually designed this perfectly. So when you put it right on the plate on the back like this, and it's perfectly set up to balance an Ace Pro or an Ace Pro 2. So what I do is put it on and turn it on, and it is, just spin it around, 3 clicks, 1, 2, 3, spin around. So now it is perfectly fine, and it's balanced on the back, and it's magnetic, and I can pop that out, and I can just put the phone one on there with the clip, so that I can switch back and forth very easily. I don't have to use a clamp and take it off one, put it on this one, and try to fit it. With this one, you just stick it on the way I've got it shaped, and it's perfectly balanced for an open version of the Ace Pro or Ace Pro 2. It works with both. And as you can see in the video, the Insta360 Flow 2 was actually using the Ace Pro 2 to film, and the Hohem was using just my phone. So, and it works very well. You can just pop this right off. So the other one is the to do it with the, if you don't want the screen up, the display up, flip it down. So the thinner one is to compensate for the display being down, but you do have to remove the because I just use a little 1/4-inch tripod, like tether ring. You can buy those like 5-pack for like $3, and it's just a screw that you pop out, and I just screw this one in like so. I usually have another mount on here, so I don't have to keep doing this. So you can switch back and forth. So if you don't want this display up, you just use this one, click it in, and it sticks back here with the, where's my MagSafe? Oh, here's this one. Take it off here. And this one is, so you notice that this one has a longer lip at the bottom. So that's where the balance is on this camera, on the Ace Pro. So you just stick it on to exactly how this thing is shaped. See? Like that, and you stick it on, turn on, and it's balanced. There you go, perfectly balanced for the Ace Pro or the Ace Pro 2. This is what I use the gimbal for. I don't really like using it for the phone, just because it looks, for me, it's kind of weird for me to hold a phone in the public. And I want to concentrate more on, and that's why I bought the Hohem, was to concentrate more on using a mechanical gimbal for the pure video mode and shutting off the stabilizer on the digital stabilizer for the pure video mode and using a mechanical gimbal. Technically and theoretically, I should have better quality video because it's actually using the mechanical gimbal to stabilize the video. Because the pure video has those dual AI CPUs to do all the kind of degraining, that kind of stuff. And the motion just kind of adds into that quality. So if you have a mechanical gimbal, as we've seen with the Pocket 3, that's one of the best reasons why the Pocket 3 has such a good quality, because first of all, it has the bigger sensor. Second, it has a mechanical gimbal attached to the camera. That's why you get that amazing output from the Pocket 3, and that's why it's one of the most popular cameras out there. It'd be great if Insta360 could come out their version of the Pocket 3. As we can see, that thing is so popular that I might even think about buying one myself. But it's never in stock. Like, it's crazy. You know, Amazon will have stock for about 3 days and then they're out of stock. But they'll come back in. I was going to get one for the trip, but it's just, I just don't have the time to play around with it and get it going. And there's the weight thing too. Now I'm adding another camera in my bag. But I think when I get back, I'm going to probably invest in the Pocket 3, because I know the Pocket 4 is on its way out. But they haven't dropped the price of the Pocket 3, and I wish they did. It's still pretty expensive here. I know, I think US is about $500. In Canada here, the Pocket 3 is about $720. And plus taxes and everything, eco fees, you're looking at well over $800 for this camera, which is twice the price of one of these guys. You know, either that or I wait for the new Action 6 and see what that's like. But who knows what Insta360 is coming out with. They seem to keep surprising us with some neat stuff. Now I'm hearing that, and through the grapevine, we're going to see an X5 come out soon. Hopefully, we see some pretty good improvements. The X4 is a phenomenal camera. I still use it, and I'm taking it with me. And I still love the X4. It's probably one of the best-selling cameras next to the Pocket 3. Just because of what it can do. And a lot of people are saying, oh, the X4 looks terrible. But the X4, the problem with the X4 is you have to know what you're doing in terms of exporting your video. If you don't know what you're doing, your video is not going to look very good. I've been using it for so long that I know what format and what bit rate to export it. And I just did one shooting in interior of my car hanging beside me. And it was shooting at 5.7 because the light wasn't very good, and you're supposed to shoot at a lower resolution. But when I exported it out, it looked crystal clear in my car. Like it wasn't very bright inside my car. So anyways, off track there a little bit. But this is the reason why I use it for, and I really like this gimbal. There's so much more to this gimbal that I haven't really explored, and I just haven't had time to, guys. When I get back from my trip, I'm going to start playing with this and then do a little bit more. I want to get this out to a pure video sample with it on, with the stabilizer off, and using this and getting some sample videos and see if it's better in the pure video mode. It technically should be. Because it's using now a mechanical gimbal. If you have any questions, drop me a comment down below and I'll try to answer as much as I can. I really love this gimbal. I love the Hohem as well. There are some really nice features of the Hohem. But in terms of using it, if you're going to be using it for an action camera, there isn't really a lot of action camera gimbals out there. There's only a couple, and they're not cheap, and they're only dedicated to GoPros. So this is a nice thing to have, and to have this tracking unit right here. And you saw in the video how well the tracking works even on an action camera. I hope this helped, guys, and I hope to do another video before I leave. But if I don't, guys, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.